Today we're going to look at understanding figurative language. In particular, we're going to discuss the simile, the metaphor, and personification. But first we want to ask, what is figurative language? How can I interpret the figurative language once I find it? So what is figurative language? What do you think it means? Well, here are some examples to assist you in inferencing or predicting the meaning of figurative language. The wind whispered softly through the trees. The cafeteria pizza was a soggy, droopy piece of cardboard. The teacher glared like a furious dragon. So, what is figurative language? Let's take a look at one of our examples. The wind whispered through the trees. Does a wind really whisper? Well, then what is the author trying to tell us about the wind if it is not able to whisper? The cafeteria pizza was a soggy, droopy piece of cardboard. Is the pizza really made of cardboard? Well, that wouldn't be delicious. So then what is the author trying to tell us about the pizza? The teacher glared like a furious dragon. Is the teacher really a dragon? I mean, maybe in your opinion, but let's take it in the literal sense. So what is the author trying to tell us about the teacher? So what is figurative language? Well, figurative language expresses an idea that goes beyond the actual literal meaning of the words. Wind can't whisper, but the expression gives you an idea of how the wind sounds. So there are several different types of figurative language. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at what a simile is, what a metaphor is, and also give examples of personification. All right, well, how can I interpret figurative language? Well, to interpret figurative language means to understand what the author is trying to say. So to interpret figurative language, it's important to understand how the different kinds of figurative language work. Let's get into some definitions. Well, the tree stood tall and proud by the curving path. So here we have personification. Personification means to give human thoughts and qualities to non-human objects. So when we take a look at the tree stood tall and proud by the curving path, how does this sentence show personification? How is this sentence showing the tree doing something that trees don't really do? I mean, if the tree is standing tall and proud, trees do not have feet, they can't stand. So what is the author trying to give us when they talk about the trees standing tall and proud? Well, perhaps with the tree standing tall and proud, they're trying to personify or give some sort of feeling that it is a person to us. And so, of course, therefore, as a person, we might be able to better relate. Next, the leaves danced as they fell from the trees. So what are the leaves doing that leaves can't really do? That's right, leaves don't dance. Now this is an example again of personification. So what is the author trying to tell us about the leaves? Now, a simile is another kind of figurative language. Now, the definition of a simile would be a comparison between two unlike objects using like or as. The words like or as have to be inside this comparison or it is not a simile. So let's try one. The four students sat down at the cafeteria table and ate like pigs. So what is being compared in the simile? Well, first we do see the word like or as. The word is like, and it's in front of the word pigs. So now we have to look for the comparison. What two objects are being compared? That's right, the four students and eating like pigs. So students and pigs are what are being compared. So then what is the author trying to say about the way that the students are eating? We can't just say, oh, they're eating like pigs. How would you describe that? So when the students are sitting down, maybe they are, as in our picture, sitting quite close next to each other and just absolutely gobbling down everything in sight. They're obviously quite hungry. They're very much wanting the food in front of them, and they're going to eat fast and furious. Next one, the waves licked the shore like a kitten lapping milk. So what is the author comparing in this simile? And again, we see the word like. What two objects are being compared? That's right, the waves are being compared to a kitten lapping milk. So then what is the author trying to say about the waves? Now, are the waves rough and fierce or small and gentle? If the waves are licking the shore like a kitten lapping milk, are they rough and fierce waves or small and gentle waves? So then let's review. What is it called when an author gives human thoughts and feelings to non-human objects? Personification, that's right. So then what is a comparison using like or as? I hope you said simile, because that would be correct. All right, so then how can I interpret figurative language? Well, I've got a third one for you, and that would be metaphor. Now, metaphor is another kind of figurative language. It does not use the word like or as, but it still makes that comparison of two unlike objects. Similes and metaphors do the exact same thing. Just metaphors do not use the word like or as. You're going to be seeing the forms of to be, where one is being compared to the other. So let's look at a metaphor here. The school was a maze of hallways and passages. So what is being compared in this metaphor? There's no like or as this time. So we have in between our verb of to be, which is was, school, and a maze. The school is being compared to a maze. So then what is the author trying to express with this metaphor? Now we've got the math test was a walk in the park. What two objects are being compared? That's right, the math test is being compared to a walk in the park. So then what is the author trying to tell us about the math test? Well, for most of us, a walk in the park is probably something that is quite pleasant, maybe a little bit easy. So it sounds like somebody's doing okay on their math test. So the math test is not very difficult. Perhaps it is very comfortable, very relaxing. It certainly is a positive idea. So then let's review. Once again, what kind of figurative language makes comparison using like or as? It's got to be a simile, that's right. Which kind of figurative language gives human thoughts and qualities to non-human objects? Personification. Which kind of figurative language makes a comparison, but it does not use the words like or as? A metaphor. All right, so let's go ahead and check out a few examples and see how well we're doing. Now, I want to know what kind of figurative language do they show? And can you interpret a figurative language? What idea is the author trying to express? So example 1, the airplane landed as gracefully as a ballerina. Is this personification, simile, or a metaphor? Well, I do see the word like or as in here, so I'm wondering if perhaps there are two objects being compared. Perhaps an airplane landing as gracefully as a ballerina, an airplane and a ballerina. Yup, it's a simile. So then let's see if we can interpret what is the author comparing and what is the author trying to tell us. So if the airplane is landing as gracefully as a ballerina, that's how I want all of the airplanes I'm in to land. Is landed perfectly. There is not any bumps, there's not any turns, there is no stress. The author is trying to tell us that the airplane is moving smoothly as it stops. Example 2, the water smashed angrily against the rocks. Is this personification, a simile, or a metaphor? Well, we have them smashing angrily, so we have this emotion that is going on. I have a feeling that is personification, because if there's an emotion, you are giving human-like qualities to a non-human object. All right, so then what is the water doing that the water doesn't really do, and what is the author trying to tell us about the water? So if we take that human emotion into consideration here, if something is smashing angrily, it sounds like the water is very fast moving, it sounds like it is rough, it sounds like it is something that you probably would not want to be, relaxing in. Example number 3. My brother's room was a dark, mysterious cave. Is that personification, a simile, or a metaphor? Well, we are comparing objects here, but I don't see the word like or as. That's right, it is a metaphor. So let's take a look at the metaphor. What is the author comparing, and what is the author trying to show about the brother's room? Well, we're comparing your brother's room to a dark, mysterious cave. So the room is being compared to a cave in the metaphor. So what is the author trying to show? Well, it's a dark, mysterious cave. I have a feeling you don't want to go in there. You have no idea what you might find. If it's dark, obviously you can't see very well. If it's mysterious, you don't know exactly what's in there. It has this sense of foreboding, or maybe perhaps this sense of exploration. All right, so now you should be able to answer these figurative questions. What is figurative language? And how can I interpret figurative language? All right, thanks for stopping by, guys. If you liked this video, please give a like and subscribe. Please also check out my other videos on my channel.